Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining me on this special call. We managed to squeak another one in this week. I'm super excited to have my good friend and mentor, Brian Carruthers, joining us on this evening's call. In case you've never heard of Brian before, let me pull the rock out that you can crawl out from under. But Brian has been around the network marketing profession for 17 years, and he spent it all with one company, which is super impressive and valuable insight. He's personally enrolled, get this, personally enrolled 1,450 members, and he has a team of over 400,000 representatives with 2 million customers. 2 million. His team has been paid over $360 million in commissions, which is just staggering to hear. And Brian is somebody who walks the walk, talks the talk, and has just provided such valuable mentorship to the network marketing profession. He has been a great mentor to me and has really just exemplified what it means to stay in the trenches and just really be leading by example. So thanks for joining us here tonight, Brian.
Hey, Adam, I appreciate your invite to be on here. It means a lot to me. I've watched you over the last few years do amazing things, cranking your business up and setting the standard for everybody out here. So you inspire me, man. I love what you're doing. By the time you're at the age of where I pretty much started, you'll already be, light years ahead. So I'm pumped to be a part of this with you.
So for everyone on the call, the reason we got this set up is Brian has sent me a pre-release copy of a new training program he put out. He wanted my feedback on it and make sure that I could recommend it authentically. Brian and I first met just over 2 years ago at the GoPro Recruiting Mastery event, and so I've really just loved the training. He's got a no-nonsense approach, and so he sent me a copy of his training program that he just released, and I've been able to go through it, loved it, and so while I had that kind of dialogue and conversation going and giving my feedback, I managed to twist his arm to do a conference call for us. He did one for me just under 2 years ago, actually, and so we're glad to have him back on here again. But Brian, he's got this locker room training, which is valuable DVD and CD content, but you also might recognize the name from Building an Empire, Money Mindset? Money Mindset, that was called?
Yep.
Money Mindset, and then the popular recruiting tool, Making My First 10 Million. So Brian knows what he's talking about. He's a prospecting machine and just leads by example. And so I've got some questions here that I have had people submit to me that I want to cover, and then I just want you to just go off on whatever you think the people want to hear from. But the first question that we really have a lot of questions around is time management. Specifically, how much time do you recommend people spend prospecting versus working with current members? This is just, I think, a super valuable insight that we've asked a few other networkers, and I'm just curious to see your take as somebody who has personally enrolled 1,450 people. What do you think as far as time management goes?
Yeah, so, the way I covered that in the chapter in Building an Empire is pretty accurate. It's at least a guide or a metric that I kind of tended to follow throughout my career. I've got basically 4 quadrants, if you will. Like 25% of my time is spent prospecting for new prospects myself, and then the second 25% is following up on my existing prospects who I've already exposed once. Now I just got to do follow-ups with them. The third 25% is talking with my team members' prospects for them as a third-party resource or expert. And then the fourth 25% of my time is me working with my team, training, teaching, promoting for them to get registered for a convention, organizing, whatever. So basically what you just heard me say is 75% of my time is talking to prospects. 50 of that 75% is talking to my own prospects, and 25 of that 75 is talking to my team's prospects on 3-way calls or on 2-on-1 appointments and that kind of thing. But I really believe that you've got to be focused on leading by example, what I call income-producing activity, staying in phase 1. Phase 1 means you're out there talking to prospects. Phase 2 is when you go into management mode, and you never want to get there, because once you become a manager, you're supervising your people. Next thing you know, your people are looking at you. They want to be like you. They want to follow your lead. And if you get off the elevator and stop doing the income-producing activity, they're going to get off the elevator with you because they think that that's what they're supposed to do. It's like a mother duck with all the ducklings following behind. They're just going to do what you do. And so, for example, I always lead by example, and I never ever want to ever be accurately called a hypocrite. I don't tell my team, go do this, but I'm not doing it myself. For example, 2016, we just finished the first quarter. And the first quarter of this year, guess who the number one recruiter in my company was? Moi. Why? Look, I already make a lot of money. I make a six-figure monthly income, and I have for over a decade. So I don't need personally to go get new recruits, but I do it, and I do it at that kind of a rate because I want to inspire my team to know, as busy as I am, I can. And after being in my company for 17 years, I don't have a fresh list to go attack. I've already talked to everybody I know at least 12 times, and I still found ways to find people to talk to and be the number one recruiter in my company. So all I'm saying that for is if I can do it, you can do it. I can make my excuse, hey, I've been around forever, I don't have anybody else to talk to. But I don't let that be my excuse. I turn my excuses into reasons, and I go out and get it done, and that's what I try to do and share with you guys. And that's what, one of the things I talk about in the locker room training. I spent an entire half an hour of really drilling into exactly where do you find these new people to talk to. There's 6 main places I find my prospects, and if you just go and operate in those 6 areas, you'll have unlimited people to talk to.
So the excuse of I don't have anyone to talk to, if a member in your team comes to you and says that, what would you respond to them, or what's your coaching around that?
Well, just obviously, we're going to only be on here for half an hour. I can't really get into a lot of detail on like all those 6 places for them to go look. But I will tell you that one key factor that will really help everybody, and by the way, I speak with confidence and authority because that's how, because I'm speaking from 30,000 hours of practice and experience in the field, in the trenches, doing the deal. Matter of fact, I just recruited somebody else yesterday, and I've recruited somebody else 2 days before that. I'm out there doing the deal. So if I come across like I'm a know-it-all, well, I don't know it all. I'm never done growing. I got a lot to still, to improve on and get better at. But I will say that, this stuff it's real and it will work. Here's a point I'm trying to get to. Apologize for the build up for it, but God gave everybody 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. If He wanted us to go out there and do all the talking, He would have given us 1 ear and 2 mouths, and that would be a little weird, but just picturing that. But think about this: we've got to stop selling and start solving. We got to stop recruiting and start solving. And let me explain what I mean by that. You see, if people, your friends and your family and your neighbors, they don't want to be sold by you. Nobody wants you. By the way, you don't want to sell, and they don't want to be sold. But if you can find their problems in their life or their pain points and show them how you can offer them a solution to their problems or their pain, then they'll buy. Look, I love to buy things. I don't like to sell. I don't want to be sold. People love buying. That's why people go on shopping sprees. People win the lottery, they go out and spend all the money. People get a little extra money at the end of the month and their bills are paid. Guess what? They love spending it. People just spend. That's why I wrote the Money Mindset book. People are really bad at spending too much instead of investing and building for their wealth in their future. But so, again, people love to buy. And I just bought my wife, Melissa, a surprise birthday present last week. I got her a new 2017 Audi Q7. It's unbelievable. I loved it. It was fun buying that. But if I walked into the dealership and those people attack me like they try to do, that turns me off. I don't like to be sold. Just let me look and let me buy. So from that standpoint, I would encourage you all to just look and listen. People are always complaining about something. I know what your all's product is. Matter of fact, I'm a user of your oil as an example. So if you're just listening, people are complaining about allergies, or complaining about headaches, or complaining about not being able to sleep, they're complaining about being tired, or think about all the things that your product does, and just listen for people complaining about it, and say, hey, have you used the oil for that? No, what do you mean? Oh, let me show this to you. Boom, you got a sale. You listen to somebody complaining about how they don't have time with their kids. They're missing their kids' soccer games. They're working too hard. They can't make ends meet. They're not ready for retirement. They're freaked out about the economy, about their bank account. Listen, they're telling you that you need to show them the solution to your business opportunity that will solve those problems for them. So again, just tonight we're just doing some surface grazing of these topics here. We don't have time for deep drills, but these are some thinking points that will hopefully just some nuggets. You can put these little gold nuggets in your basket and go dwell on them tonight and figure out how you can implement this stuff immediately in your business. When you get to that mindset of stop selling, start solving, stop recruiting, start solving, people will stop running from you because they don't want to be sold by you or recruited into something by you again, and they will see you as a caring friend. And people like to do business with people that they know, like, and trust. That's the key.
Wise words. Wise words. You mentioned just on your time management thing again, there's a few questions that popped up. 50% of your time is obviously with your own prospects. Another 25% was doing three-ways. I know that's a big part in your Building an Empire book. But if you're going to give like a short formula on what a three-way call looks like and how people can use those most effectively, what would that look like?
I'll answer this, and I'll also tell you, Adam, if you want to go to my blog and pluck off the video, I forget how long it took me to do it. Maybe it's like an 8-minute video that I actually show a diagram on a white pad, diagramming out what a three-way call looks like, why it works, how to do it properly. But in a nutshell, your prospects. Here's the power of a three-way call. Third party is always more powerful than first party. Most people can't sell. Most people can't recruit. And so if you ask them to go do something that they can't do or can't do well, they're going to freeze up and not do the activity out of fear that they can't do it right. So you don't want anybody freezing up. You want to empower them to feel so comfortable about doing something. Look, they don't need to know the answers about your product. They don't need to know all the answers about your comp plan or your business opportunity. All they need to do is just go open the door of receptivity in somebody's mind, see if they're willing to look, and then the person checks out a third-party presentation via a tool with like a video or a website or whatever, or even a physical presentation by someone else, a third-party person. But here's the key: the same thing with third-party presentations. The third-party close is so crucial. Look, you might not have to do it. Your product sells very, very well, so you can sell the product without using anybody's help. Okay, without a doubt, you guys are doing that all day long in your sleep. Let somebody try it; they like it. Great product, by the way. I love your company. But on the opportunity side, you've got to use three-way calls because your people that you're recruiting, in the act of recruiting them, they're being trained on what they're going to go do. And if you recruit somebody yourself, they're going to go out there and try to recruit their people themselves. And they're going to talk to their cousin, their mom, their brother, their best friend, and those people are going to shut them down. I mean, literally, they're going to shut them down. They're ruthless. That people just they try to put you in your place. So what do you think you're doing? No, you're not doing one of those stupid businesses. Get your butt back over here where we are, miserable in our jobs, right? So at the end of the day, a three-way call, what it does, the distributor, you have the respect you have the trust of your contacts and your friends. They trust you, they like you, they love you, but they don't respect your business opinion about this business. So if you can leverage their trust in you and the fact that they like you, and then you leverage that and you edify, which means speak well of another third-party person, make them out to be the expert. What you're doing is you're giving them the credibility. You're giving them the influence for them to be able to influence your prospect in your favor. So if Adam is my upline, and by the way, if I'm properly doing edification, if Mr. Green, I don't care if he's younger than me, if Mr. Green is my upline, and I'm talking to Cindy about looking to get involved in the business with us, I'm going to basically get her to think that Mr. Green walks on water and glows in the dark. He's so good and so knowledgeable about this business. And when I introduce Cindy to Mr. Green, and Mr. Green now has the influence to get Cindy to listen to his every word and to act on his call to action to, hey, get on the website and sign up with Brian. Boom, got her. She's on board. Now we have a collective have a chance to help her change her life for the better. So that's why I hate the word closing. We don't close anybody. We actually open people. We don't close them. We open them to a new world of possibilities. But hopefully that's a good little nutshell of the three-way call.
No, that's perfect. I pulled up the three-way call video you alluded to from your blog, so I'll post that for everyone on the call. We'll post that on right on my Facebook main page where I started a post about this call. That's where I'll post that so you can get the info. So we got people on the call who are probably new and people who are more experienced. I got two questions here for you. I'll let you roll with. What are maybe some invisible roadblocks that people are running into that they might not recognize? And for the people who are really true exceptional builders already, what kind of things can they do to make what they're doing even better?
All right, let's start with the first thing. So one of the things I try to do is, look, as an upline mentor for people, what I find is that we're not just sellers, recruiters, team builders. We're almost like psychiatrists and like doctors. We have to help. If you look in the mirror, if you don't feel good, something's not right. You look in the mirror, you can't tell what's wrong. That's why you go to an internal medicine doctor, and that doctor can actually do some tests and see what's going on inside of your body that's going wrong. That's what we need to do sometimes, is help you to realize what you might not be able to see on the surface that might be holding you back. Those invisible barriers, or roadblocks as you call them. So a couple of them is, let's just say the first one that jumps in my mind, don't be outwardly concerned about your own goals. This is a big one. Everybody gets started up in this business for their own various reasons, what we call your why. You want to make a bunch of money so that you can quit your job, so that you can be at home, be a stay-at-home parent, or you can travel, or you can play golf or go fishing, or shop, or give your time to charitable causes and church and stuff. Whatever is important to you, right? You have your reasons for doing this business, and therefore you have your goals. I want to move up to this rank so I can start having this kind of success, so it can impact my life. Well, it's great to have those personal goals. Without them, you're not going to do anything. Okay, you have to have your personal goals. But you just can't talk about your goals that much to your team. Because when your team thinks that all you care about is you getting your goals met, you rank advancing your pin level, then when you're talking to them, they think that you see them as nothing but pawns in your game. But when in reality, I think Zig Ziglar says it best, help enough other people get what they want, you'll get what you want. So when I learned early on that I've got to stop worrying about how much money am I making, how's my life improving, how am I getting myself up to the next level? Hey, how can you guys all go out there and produce so I can get moved up? I had that mindset years ago, like 17 years ago. But when my mentor said, Brian, you can never let them hear that kind of thing coming out of your mouth. And you can't even let them sense it. As a matter of fact, stop thinking it. If you start thinking nothing but how can you benefit and care for and help others succeed and hit their goals, then your goals, you don't even have to even set them, because they'll get hit automatically. And man, I'm telling you, that was magical what it did for me. And I found still find so much fulfillment in watching people on my team get started and move up in rank and start getting extra income and loosening the kind of the choke around their neck, and now they're getting above water financially, and then they start getting ahead financially, and then they quit their jobs and they're making $10,000, $15,000 a month. They never made that kind of money before. That's amazing to me. So again, if you that invisible roadblock of being too concerned about you and not enough about your team, reverse that, magic happens. Secondly, I'll say that jealousy is a problem for some people. When you look at the other success stories in your company, it's good to be inspired by them and want to model after them, but don't get jealous of them. If you got people that are side by side with you and suddenly they take off faster than you, don't get jealous. Let it fuel your fire. Let it build your belief that, yes, you can too do it. And it might not happen. You might not be in the same exact season. They might have planted more seed than you did. They might have been cultivating faster than you did. They might have had more sunshine and more rain than you did. By the way, when you plant seed, you need to plant, and then you need to cultivate, which requires sun and rain, and then the harvest comes. Everybody wants the sunshine, but they don't want the rain. Well, as a farmer, I've never been a farmer, but I understand how this works. Without the rain, without the storms coming along, you never get any crops. Okay, so in your business, don't wish for all sunny days. It's never going to be all perfect bed of roses. You're going to have prospects that don't show up. You'll have distributors that quit. You'll fall back in rank. You'll have all these kind of things come along. But that's all a part of the process to get you to the ultimate harvest. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I quit in my career. Hundreds of times I got so bummed out or discouraged that I felt like quitting. But every time I quit, I got right back on my horse and I started riding again. And if I felt really, really down, either my mentor kind of caught it and buzzed me, or I actually reached out to him and said, hey, I'm feeling really bad about this. I'm really mad about this that the company did, or somebody just did this to me, or I just had this big flop, or what. And he just said, Brian, cool, man. And he just told me some stories about other people that are rocking, and it just made me get that fire back up again. Managers light fires underneath the people. And leaders light fires inside of people. So I would encourage you guys to learn how to not be jealous, learn how to be a great leader and not a manager, light fires inside of them, and you don't have to worry about getting jealous. My answer to your other question regarding people that are already cranking, what do they do to go to the next level? Again, I got plateaued. My first month I made 11 grand, my 6th month 24 grand, my 12th month 42 grand, and I got stuck in the 40s for like 2 years. And I went to my mentor. I said, man, what do I need to do? I mean, it's not like I'm depressed about being stuck at $500,000 a year, but what do I do to go to the next? I want to go to the next level. I'm never satisfied, staying stuck somewhere, especially because I'm trying to get somewhere else. And he said a few things to me. He said, number one, if you want to make 6 figures a month, which is what you claim, you need to be so busy that your head is spinning and you don't even know right from left. When you got that much income producing, and that's all income producing activity, not being so busy doing stupid grunt work stuff, but like talking to prospects like crazy, doing presentations like crazy. That's when you'll make a 6-figure monthly income. And sure as heck, he was right. But let me, to your question, here's what I would do. 2 things. Number one, be a top recruiter on your team. Again, people get off the elevator at all different income levels. If your income stalls out somewhere, it's because you stopped doing what you did to get to that place. So that's why I've always wanted to stay being a top recruiter. Matter of fact, I don't know if I said it on this call. I've been doing so many calls, but for the first quarter of this year, I was the number 1 recruiter in my company. Why? Because I want to lead my team by example, so they will attempt to do what I'm doing. So if you want to inspire your team to go take themselves to their next level, it'll push you up to your next level. So again, never stop to take your focus off of your team and their goals and so forth. But be a top recruiter, not for you, but to be an example for them. Certainly it can't hurt to have new blood that you're working with, and it's going to give you excitement and fulfillment as well. The other last thing I'll share with you on this topic is recognize more of what you want. If you want people on your team to sell more product, then every time somebody sells product, make them a hero. Post about them. Call them. Send them a card. Send them an email. Send them a happy, meme text message or whatever. Meme, not mean, but meme, like a little picture, one of the moves, whatever you call those things. If you recognize them, babies cry for it, men die for it. Recognition is so important. And I used to kid myself and say, I don't want the recognition, just pay me. I'm doing this for the money. That's how I felt back in the day. That was a crock. I loved getting the recognition. Now I'm also kind of weird because when people recognize me, I feel awkward. So I'm an introvert, which most people don't. They think I'm full of it when I say I'm an introvert, the way I speak and train and all that. But I am. I had to meet my wife, Melissa, on Match.com. I couldn't walk up to a pretty girl somewhere and just introduce myself. I'm not an extrovert at all. I'm introverted. Now I've been doing network marketing for so long, and I've studied it. I've practiced it and did the thing for 30,000 hours. Of course, I can speak like I am now. But my point being is that you have to. People want recognition. And I, even though I said I didn't want it, I really did, because when I did things and I didn't get recognized, I was like, what am I, chopped liver now? I mean, I just did something great and nobody's actually paying me any respect for it. Your team, if you have a team member that goes out and sells, $200 in product, And you're a big leader or even a semi-decent leader, and that might not be a drop in the bucket in the grand scheme of your whole team sales volume, but guess what? To them, it's big. That might have been the first customer they've gotten in 3 weeks. And if you don't make them feel awesome about it, they're not going to go out and do it again. But if you make them feel awesome about it, guess what's going to happen? They're going to go out and get 2 more customers next week because they want to get that feeling from you again. So recognize more of what you want.
That's such great advice, and it probably seems simple on the surface, but sometimes it's the simplest things that we tend to forget. And prospecting, recruiting, and recognition are some of those core basics of the business. So I really appreciate you taking the time to share with my group and just emphasize those points. So you sent me this training program over a month ago, and so it came at an interesting point because I was going through a marriage DVD series with a small group of people, and we were meeting together once a week and going through these DVDs and working on our relationships. And so I got your CD-DVD combo in the mail and started going through it and went through the entire 5 hours of this closed-door training you did in Baltimore. And one, I love the live content. I'm a sucker for live events, and so it felt really cool to actually be there virtually through the screen. But I also saw the value specifically in using it as a training tool, and specifically I think it's a super powerful to stick you and your expertise in front of our team members and have them experience the wisdom from a third party again. And going through this marital training on this DVD, it really opened my mind to the idea of using this DVD set as, again, an ongoing training platform, especially for new distributors coming in, making sure people are getting started right. Obviously, we can't talk all evening. You could go for hours and hours, 5 hours at least. But I want to give you just opportunity to just talk a little bit more about some of that and why you put it together and the value for people to get this.
Absolutely. So let me tell you why I put it together. Building an Empire, the book itself, it was designed to be the complete manual. I mean, 104 chapters, everything about everything in network marketing. Here's what's pretty funny. I just say it's actually sad, not funny. That's kind of a mixed emotion, but people say, I want to succeed so badly. I say, okay, go get my book, $16, go get it. Well, I don't want to spend $16 right now. I'm like, then you are absolutely off your rocker if you actually think you're going to have massive success. I mean, sometimes I don't say that, but I want to say it, right? I'm like, okay, I'm not going to pressure you to go buy a daggone book. But some people just don't like reading, maybe. I don't know. I mean, by the way, I don't like reading. I do not like reading. I do it anyway because I like what I get from reading. If I didn't read the right books, the Jim Rohns and the Napoleon Hill and the Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, if I didn't read that stuff, I wouldn't be a millionaire right now. I mean, I have an 8-figure net worth. I wouldn't have come if I didn't invest in myself. So, but here's what I know. There are so many different ways that you can learn how to build this business. And you can go out there and sell, and get better at selling. You can go out there and prospect, and spend 5-10 years practicing all kinds of different techniques to finally find the ones that work for you. But you just wasted 5 or 10 years. Your company might not even be in momentum anymore. You missed out on the whole opportunity. The sun's not shining, making hay for you anymore. There's all kinds of things. So here's the thing. The locker room training, I basically got in behind closed doors, like a coach taking the football team into the locker room at halftime, locks the doors. Nobody out there in the stands. It's not for the spectators. It's not for the fans in the stands. It's not for the bench warmers. It's for the players that need to go back out there in the second half and win the daggone game. And the coach can get in there and be raw and real and tell these guys exactly what they need to do. That's my style. And when I was able to get in on my stage and do my training for 5 hours with people that really want to win, it's not for the people that just want to go make $200 a month. You don't need me to tell you how to make $200 a month. Okay, that's easy to do in your own company. But if you want to make $2,000, $20,000, $200,000, then you need to find coaches. And of course, you guys have great uplines. So this does not take anything away from Mr. Adam Green and others that you've got, on your radar screen in your own company. I had my own upline. You have your own upline. but I also sought people that had no financial attachment to me and learned from other mentors. And I heard them differently because they were not always there present. You guys probably don't listen to Adam Green anymore because you hear from him too often. He's caring too much. He pours into you too much. A prophet is never heard in his own backyard. It just is what it is. People on my team don't listen to me much anymore because they've heard me for so long. I've got great help that I can give them, but they unconsciously can't hear me that much anymore. So when I actually went out there in the general network marketing community for the whole profession to help everybody, it's been so cool because the stuff I say to my team, which of course my team has done amazing things and they're, $360 million in commissions that they've earned, it's working over here. But I'm simply saying when people come up to me in a hallway after hearing me talk for like 20 minutes at a GoPro event, they're like, oh my gosh, the nuggets I got from you. I mean, that's literally, I just cut a year off my learning curve. Can you imagine if I can give you 5 hours of that from a guy who's not only made $16 million, but I'm in the trenches. I'm not somebody who did it 10 years ago or 20 years ago. I'm trying to train based on what worked in the past, what I did years ago. Let me kind of think, what did I say back then to people? So like today before this call, I was on the phone recruiting people today. I just put a new person in the business yesterday and got him jump-started today. When I did that locker room training for 5 hours last year and got it all filmed and developed, guess what? I mean, it's right in the trenches. So can you imagine having a coach there walking side by side with you? So here's basically the way we set this thing up. And I'm telling you, we launched it on Sunday, so literally it's not even been 48 hours yet, or actually it's been 48 hours exactly now. It's flying off the shelf. And by the way, it's only a limited time, so people have to act quickly, which is why they're probably doing it. But it's an audio CD, a DVD for video, and a digital access, so you can actually access the training on your mobile device, on your iPad, your computer, wherever. But on top of getting all of that, which is normally going to be, after this launch period is over, it'll still be available, but it'll be $497 for the digital access, $497 for the DVD, CD, physical package, like I sent to Adam. But on top of that, anybody who's getting it tonight, during this launch tonight, you'll get a 12-month live coaching session with me every month for an hour. All the group that are buying this program will get on a live webinar together. I'll do some coaching live and live Q&A. So we'll be doing Q&A. Anything that you need to learn, anything that's bothering you, that's holding you back or whatever, we'll knock that stuff out on a monthly basis. I will be walking along your side for the next year coaching you. What is that worth to you, by the way? And which is a $1,200 value. And on top of that, we'll give you access to the replay of those live webinars, which is another $1,200 value, which is what the price tag will be once we get beyond this launch. So think about that. You'll see it on the website that Adam will put up for you guys. But you'll get the $500 digital, the $500 physical product, the $1,200 for the live webinars, the $1,200 for the replays. It's $3,300 total, and what the price tag will be. And you can get everything tonight for $297. I mean, and here's one thing I'll say about that. Because, look, I don't normally sell something that I created. I'm normally selling product that my company provides for me to sell and the opportunity they provide for me to recruit people to. So this is not the easiest thing in the world for me to do. This is the hardest thing for me to say, hey, look, this program you need to buy because it's so great. I'm the one who did it. So that sounds arrogant or awkward, and it is weird for me. But I do want to say this. What would it be worth for you to actually get that kind of training from someone who has already put in the 20 years of the hard work, going to trainings, reading the books, listening to the tapes, attending the seminars, getting private coaching from multi-million-dollar legend mentors, spending the 30,000 hours and the $100,000 or $200,000 in plane tickets and time away from the family, all to go get that knowledge. And I can give it to you on a silver platter where you can actually just pick it up and go get all that knowledge and literally cut. If I spend 30,000 hours getting it, what if I can take 10,000 hours off of your learning curve? What would that be worth to you? Plus, you write it off as a business expense anyway, which we need to learn how to invest in our own businesses. So, Adam, that's kind of a big sales pitch. I hope it works because I'm not here. I don't need to sell this program to make money. It's not going to move the needle in my life whether people buy it or not. This is about you moving the needle for your business. So.
No, thank you for that. I got post the website up for everyone after. Again, it's lockerroomtraining.ca for Brian Carruthers Locker Room Training. But again, I know you're doing this for my team, and again, I've already seen the value. I've got the hard copy in front of me, and so I wanted to just toss a little extra just for our group because, again, it's valuable for me to have our members trained even better than they already are and just have that extra credibility. So Brian told me before he could track who's going to place orders. So for anybody who places that order, I'm going to toss in a 10-pack of the 25 to Life books that I got. So that's just an extra little value for you to toss in because I want to see the needle move for everyone in our group. I want to see people train better, and I realized that I've been so fortunate to have a lot of exposure to just network marketing training over the past few years. I've met you. I know we met at GoPro, and I've seen you speak a few times live. And I got access to a lot more people than maybe others do. You know, we talked to Richard Brook last night, talking to you tonight. All these people who have been my mentors and people who I've just connected with so well. But this is the first time I've seen, something like this that really does what it provides, just such valuable content. And anyone who wants to grab that.
Let me. I don't want to be disrespectful and cut you off, but I just want to tell your folks on your team right now. Number one, that book is awesome. I mean, it's well written. It's I guarantee it's well received by the people you get to read it. That's going to stimulate them to want to be a part of your business and be a part of the movement and the crusade you guys are building. But also, I want to say that me saying, hey, I'll be a coach for you is additive. It's not to replace any of the people you're already working with, but I promise you, you guys all for sure take Adam Green for granted. Why? Because he's always there for you. And I just want to remind you to make it a conscious effort to don't take him for granted. Take advantage of the fact and appreciate the fact you got somebody like Adam who cares so daggone much. He's constantly working, figuring out what he can do to help support you guys, build you guys, help you succeed and so forth. And Adam, I just want to say that, after being in the industry for 21 years, you coming along and doing all that you're doing, the success you're creating, and the people that I hear you bragging about, and I watch your Facebook, and you're recognizing all these superstars that are rising up through the ranks. My hat's off to you, man. You're awesome. That's why I'm on this call with you. I'm only doing a few of these calls this week with some people that I have mad respect for. And so just keep on doing what you're doing, and all of you guys keep on following his lead, and then take heed to what he's doing and become a leader like him, and you'll be in the same position or even beyond where he is. I mean, it's always good for a child to outdo his parent or her parent. My dad, gave me big shoes to fill. I mean, he made tens of millions of dollars in real estate. So his success allowed me to think and believe big. So take the path that Adam Green has already kind of cut in the forest and the weeds with his machete for you, and allows you to just run right on past them. And then you take the machete and you start blazing the trail. So, hey, look, this is awesome. I'm giving myself goosebumps just thinking about what you all are doing, and I just have such big respect for you guys.
Thanks, Brian. Super appreciate it, and you taking the time this evening to talk to us. Team, I know that we've had two big conference calls back to back with Richard last night and then Brian tonight, just getting a special call in. So I really want to encourage you guys to make sure that we're taking action from this event and from these calls and using the replays, making sure we're getting it in our members' hands so they're getting, again, training from that third-party resource. That's why we've been having so many guest speakers on our calls, because I just had a sense that people were tuning me out a little bit more than usual. So thank you, Brian, for popping on and doing what you do best. Hopefully you guys take advantage of the offer, and I just really think there's such value, especially in the video content of being in that room, and especially I love the idea of doing launching your members with it and doing that sort of video study week by week and taking action from those events, applying what you're learning and putting in those hours and building your business. So thank you, Brian, for being here tonight. I know your time is limited. Thanks, Melissa and Talon, for giving us some of your time. And I just really appreciate you. Look forward to seeing you probably in Vegas in December.
Hey, absolutely, man. And I applaud you for throwing in your books as an extra spiff on top of all the bonuses I'm putting out there. It's very generous of you. At the end of the night, before I go to bed, I promise I'll pull the report. I'll send it over to you so you can send those books out tomorrow morning and get everybody's businesses cranking. Have a great night.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. Thanks, everyone. Chat with you next week.